Hey guys, this is Neil Lemons. I am on the board of Social Media Dallas, and today I'm here with Eric T. Tung. Eric T. Tung has an elaborate history, and he's one of the most recognized social media marketing managers. According to Forbes, he's number 33, I believe, on that list. And I'm going to let you talk a little bit more about your history, Eric, and then we're going to talk about you coming to speak at Social Media Dallas coming up really soon, and I'll put that link out there in 1 second. But
cool.
Go ahead and tell us more about you, Eric, and then tell us more about the content matrix, which you're speaking about at
Definitely.
Dallas.
Yeah, definitely. Let me tell you, first of all, I'm actually live at the Texas Auto Writers Association Truck Rodeo. So if you see some cool looking trucks go in the background, there's about 200 different journalists here that are checking those trucks out, and there's going to be voting on them. So that's kind of a cool thing going on if you see something going on back there.
Yeah, live on set.
Yeah, right. As to social, I was one of the first million or couple million like Facebook users. The University of Texas was the 13th campus that Facebook opened up to, and it was the first non Ivy League school it opened up to. So I've been on Facebook and using social forever. In 2007, 2008, I started working on social for a large energy company in Houston as a part of just marketing communications program there. So since then, I've jumped around a little bit and am now at BMC Software. So what I'm speaking about at the Social Media Dallas meeting is going to be how you can really structure your content to make a meaningful difference in your sales cycle, right? So a lot of people kind of think, yeah, I might have like a content calendar, right? An editorial calendar. I know what I'm going to be writing about. There's some people don't. Some people still just kind of wing it day by day, right? So I'm going to talk about how you can really pair up your sales cycle with your content calendar and help guide people down your sales cycle into becoming a customer.
And how did you arrive at it sounds like a really cool concept, the content matrix. It sounds like it's almost like you built in an algorithm of systems of processes of distributing content and making content connect in different ways on different social channels, email, paid search. It sounds like a really cool concept. How did you arrive at the formula you have now?
Yeah.
And then how has it evolved over the years?
Yeah.
Where's it going?
It's not the content matrix in terms of like, the movie or anything. It's more of literally you have, different areas that you want to cross section. And then once you do that, you can figure out exactly where your holes in your process are. So it's a great way to really sit down and just inventory all of the content that you have available as a company and figure out where these holes are that people, need more information on, that they can, if you provide the information, they would more likely be able to get down that path and become a customer. So it's really not that complicated. I've got a few different ways that you can help supplement your content. So, how can you get other people to help you produce content, right? So there's a bunch of different ways that if you can't produce your own content, that you can incentivize individuals or customers to help create some content for you too. So there's lots of different ways to kind of create content that is valuable, that customers want, and also that different kinds of customers want, right? So, if you're selling enterprise level software, you're not just talking to a CIO. In some cases, you're talking to a director of IT or the user. And different people need different kinds of content at different stages in the sales cycle. Do you have that content available to them? And also, how are they progressing down that and that sales cycle? And do you have it distributed on the right channels? If you're expecting a CIO to find some information that you put on Snapchat, then that's probably not very likely. But maybe if you wanted to put a white paper out on Reddit, that might be worth thinking about if it's targeting your IT managers and not necessarily your higher level people. So it's all kind of a bigger scope, a bigger idea on how you can really figure out what kind of content you have, and then really get into.
1 second. All right. Hey, so I was reading in kind of what you're speaking about as far as content audits go for companies, kind of assessing what content they need or finding those gaps. How do you analyze? How do you figure out where those gaps are?
It's really the kinds of questions that the different individuals are going to be asking at that particular point in the sales cycle. So, you try and come up with maybe a half dozen or a dozen different questions for each person in your sales cycle. And at what points they contribute to that sales cycle. So, your CIO might be in charge of approving an IT project, but they're probably not going to be the person that launches it. And they're probably not going to be the person that negotiates it in the end, right? Or they could be. So it all depends on obviously what level of organization you have when you're selling into that. So take a look at all of that information, all the different questions you have, and find out if you have a blog post, a white paper, a video, something on your website that answers that question, but then also has that little button at the bottom that nudges you towards the next step in the process, right? So you might have a blog post that says, here are 5 reasons why, we are really cool compared to some of our competitors. But that next step might be, a worksheet on comparing your pricing or something, or, whatever that next step is in your particular sales cycle. A lot of people don't take that next step to say, now that you're done reading this particular answer to this question that we had, why don't we nudge you towards that next question you're going to have, or we feel like you're going to have, or give you a bunch of different options to choose. And then once you sign up for something, then we have your info and we can put you into our lead nurturing streams, right? So a lot of people don't have that that foresight to build in all those different buttons. And that's why when you go to like Salesforce, when you go to HubSpot, each of their blog posts has like 5 different ways that you can sign up for their newsletters. HubSpot gets 45,000 inbound leads a month. And that was a year ago that I heard them say that. So, when you have that built out and done in a way that makes sense, then, that's when you're going to see the real return on content. It's not going to be just, hey, I feel like writing these 10 posts today. It's going to be really, strategizing and making sure there's a process to it.
And how does SEO play a part in all this?
SEO is huge about it, right? So if you ever go see a guy named Marcus Sheridan speak, he was a partner in a company called River Pools over in the Virginia, Maryland area. And in 2008, he figured out that people were no longer buying pools because of the downturn in the economy. Like, people were asking for their deposits back even. And at that point, he said, well, if you can't convince someone to buy a pool, then he was just going to need to get everyone that was going to buy a pool to buy them from him, right? So he started blogging and creating all this content that people normally don't talk about. So when you call up a pool company and say, hey, I need to buy a fiberglass pool from you, how much is it going to be? They're not going to tell you over the phone. They want to, pull up your driveway, see if you drive, I can't really trash talk any brands here because like all of them are here. See if you're driving a Datsun or a Mercedes, and then they'll say, oh, well, your pool's going to cost $100,000 instead of $50,000, right? But he actually answered those questions. He said, here are the top, 50 questions that pool buyers are going to ask. And then he went and wrote a blog post answering each one of them. In the same way, think about what your customers, what they're asking about your products that help to bump them over that hump. And then And then also, provide them with worksheets or ebooks or white papers or videos that give them the ability to, maybe put some of your competitors side by side and figure out why you're better. So in the end, you have that ability. Marcus now, if you've ever seen him, he was featured by the New York Times in that he was able to turn his full company around completely, right? And now he's a marketing consultant because he's done so well. So the SEO piece of it is huge. If you search for how much does a fiberglass pool cost, even though you're in Dallas, I'm in Houston, his webpage or answers from his websites pull up, for me, 3 of the top 10 posts on Google, even though he doesn't even service Texas. So, sure, there are lots of industries that you're probably not, the first mover on, but if you can have that, the local piece of it makes it so you are more relevant in particular search areas, and you can also, because of that, you get a little SEO boost out of that as well. So SEO is huge for it.
Yeah, that's kind of just like you're poking holes where answering the questions other people won't ask and filling those questions up. That's really wise as far as SEO goes, for sure. And then it sounds to me like it's not just a content matrix, but it's also you're overlaying a funnel, like a sales funnel, taking people that are high on the sales funnel, they're just information seeking, and then closer and closer to eventually, and then getting them on your email list, and then you can sell to them or remarket to them or that kind of thing. It sounds like it's a lot of different spokes of the wheel going on.
That's and I don't want to give away everything yet. Obviously,
I didn't mean for you to.
Sign up for that little.
So everybody, if you've joined us, we're talking with Eric T. Tung, and we are he's speaking at Social Media Dallas on October 15th. And you can sign up right here. There's a link over here on the right side on Eventbrite. It's well worth the money. You get a free meal. You get to meet Eric. You're speaking at the Delegate here in Dallas, Texas. It's always a great time. You get to network with tons of other social media professionals, online marketers, PR agents, those types of folks. But that's really amazing. Tell us more about your company. Tell us more about BMC Software. So it's like the top 10 independent software company. You're the head of their social media marketing department, correct?
I actually just recently moved over to recruiting marketing. So, awesome. Employer branding and all of that. But, I've been at BMC for over 3 years, and they've got some pretty exciting stuff going on. So if you are kind of in that enterprise space, or even medium to large business, we're the the leader in IT service management, so help desk. When your Outlook doesn't work and you have to fill out that form online, we've got new apps that do that instead. There's one called My IT that you can have on your mobile device. Obviously, if your Exchange server is down, people can't email you the fact that they can't get access to email. So, that helps out there. And then pretty much all of the back end of IT for major companies goes through BMC. I'm talking mainframe, cloud computing, IT service management, performance and availability, and all of that as well. So 82% of the Fortune 500 uses BMC in one form or another.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to manage right there, for sure.
Check out bmc.com.
So yes, I guess being in the recruiting arena, you have to really be a brand evangelist every time you're speaking to new potential employees or everything. So that's awesome. So you get to speak a lot. And when's your next book coming out? No, or when's your first book coming out?
Well, yeah, I do need to write a book. I am working on one with Madeline Sklar over in Houston. She's one of the top influencers in the Houston space in social, and she works with GoGirlsMusic.com. So check that out too.
Go Girls, I've seen that. I've seen that Go Girls Music. They're really big on Twitter, and I guess obviously a lot of other places as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Well, how excited are you to come to Dallas?
Totally. I mean, I probably make it out to Dallas a few times a year, but
Do you?
you know, it's always great to see everyone I know there, and you know, it's kind of like Houston, but you don't have the humidity, so it's always great.
That's true. You have any favorite restaurants that you hit up when you come to Dallas?
Oh, I don't. I went to this this Mexican place. I don't remember. It was pretty nice last time, but
Desperados, Matitos, Manny's, maybe. I don't know.
I don't remember. I have to
All
look
right.
it up again.
Sorry to put you on the spot about that. No,
No problem.
that's great. Are you a barbecue fan?
Sure, definitely.
All right. Well, I highly recommend you check out Lockhart Smokehouse or Pecan Lodge when you come. Those are two of my favorites as far as that goes. But that's great. Great. Well, hey, everybody, you should definitely come on the 15th. It's going to be at the Angelica. We're going to have Eric Tong, who's going to be speaking, and he's going to tell us all about the content matrix. The link, one more time, I'm going to put it over here on the sidebar so you can see it, and click on there and go ahead. We normally have about 75 to 100 people. Our last showcase, I think we had 170-something people. It's great networking. You know, people have a drink after at the bar. That's where all the fun stuff happens. People can network and talk and that kind of a thing. We really appreciate you being here, Eric. You got any final words or any parting words to tell us about the content?
No, just keep at the content, and you know, make sure that everything that you're doing has a purpose, one way or another, I guess. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the 15th.
Cool, awesome, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and hit unrecord. Thanks for having us. Thank you for having us.